What's good, y'all? Shagama Kyle. Welcome back to my channel. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're new, make sure you subscribe. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, but we gotta hit 500 first. So make sure you subscribe, like the video if you like the video, all that kind of stuff. But today we're gonna be talking about the New York Knicks and what I think about their off-season moves and what I think this means for their future this season. So in the off-season, they re-signed Alec Burks, who I like. They re-signed Ernest Noel, who I also like. They signed Evan Fournier to a 4-year, $78 million deal. And then when you look at it, right, it seems like $19 million is quite a lot for Evan Fournier's services because, he's a pretty versatile dude, but he's not the best defender, but he can shoot the ball, he's a solid passer, he can create for himself off the dribble, and that's really what the Knicks been needing, a guy like that. So, it's really about the years because at the end of the contract, it's definitely going to be an overpay because he's not a young player right now. So that means he's definitely going to be, less productive as the contract goes on. If he's getting paid $19 million a year and, each year he's probably going to be regressing, that's just the whole mess. But for right now, for this season, I think it's going to be a good deal. And they re-signed Derrick Rose, one of my favorite players. But D Rose off the bench was really, really good last season. He gave them like 16 to 18 points a game. And, it was just a good spark plug off the bench. We saw in the playoffs how huge Derrick Rose was. And it wasn't really about D Rose. It was more about, his skill set. Somebody at the guard position who can create their own shot, in the blink of an eye, just like that. And, the biggest shining of the free agency for the Knicks, but it's also a big risk, is Kemba Walker. And Kemba Walker, this deal cannot backfire on the Knicks because Kemba Walker is not on that max deal anymore. He left like $20 million on the table and he got a buyout with OKC. So the Knicks just signed him for $8 million for about, I think it was 4 years, like 4 years at $8 million per year. At $8 million per year, if Kemba Walker is anything like his previous, past self, I think this can be great. But it's just that with Kemba, his knees are just so messed up and banged up. And it feels like as soon as he got to Boston, these things started happening because I feel like when he was in Charlotte, he was never hurt like this. He was always, in all-star games and he was always on the court for the Charlotte Hornets. But Kemba Walker's skill set is really the last piece this New York Knicks team needed to fill their last holes. And I'm not saying that they're a contender, but I do think that they're going to make the playoffs in the East. Because when you look at Julius Randle, he's a great defender. He's a good passer. He's a great scorer, good post guy, good pass. Like, he's really, really, really good. All he needed was somebody else to be able to kind of facilitate things, kind of just, be able to put the ball in somebody else's hands. Now, I'm not saying that Kemba Walker is a good passer, but, 5 assists is an upgrade from what we've gotten from, Elfrid Payton and from Emmanuel Quickly. And I like Quickly, too. He just had 27 in Summer League today. And, Quickly, I think he's going to be a good Lou Williams type. That's a cliche for, bench scoring guard, but I think he's going to be a good guy off the bench because I think he can shoot the ball. He has, range. He has confidence. He's not, afraid to do it off the dribble. I think Quickly is a pretty good guy. But RJ Barrett, a lot of the Knicks' success, I think the Knicks right now, presently constructed with what we think of these players, how they are right now, I think they're a playoff team. But I think they can reach the higher 4th, 5th seed type because realistically, in a normal Eastern Conference, the Knicks probably don't make the playoffs this season. If the Raptors and the Celtics and all those kinds of better teams are better, I think the Knicks are probably gonna get edged out. If Charlotte didn't have all those injuries, the Knicks probably get edged out. If all that happened, right? But let's say that RJ Barrett, right? He has kind of a 3rd-year kind of league. We've seen it a lot. Guys coming to their 3rd year, the first 2 years. From year 1 to year 2 was already a leap. But this season, the leap we want to see RJ make is kind of a more dominant offensive on-ball creation kind of leap. I feel like he can create for himself, but he's not an advantage creator quite yet. He was a good 3-point shooter. He shot 40% from 3. I don't think that's going to stabilize. I don't think he's 40% good from 3. I think he's more 36, 37, because 40% is elite. But I think that when he realizes how strong he is, I think he was a solid defender this year. But if he gets better on defense and he realizes how strong he is and goes to the rim more, because really driving is his thing, I think that RJ can be kind of all-star caliber, all-star level. I'm not saying he's gonna make the all-star team in the East, but I'm saying with those kind of leaps, I think is very, in the realm of possibility for him to be able to, be at that level. And Julius Randle, I think this season was real. You have some of his critics out there saying, "Oh, this is an outlier season. He's not really this good." The only thing about this season that I think is shaky is, like RJ Barrett, I do think that the 3-point shooter was kind of crazy for Julius Randle because he's 27% most of his career, and then boom, out of nowhere he's 41%. I don't think that's gonna be him the rest of his career. I'd love for it to be, but I just don't think that he's really that kind of guy from three. But Tom Thibodeau did a great job coaching this team. He got everybody locked in on defense. Adding Kemba does not make this defense better, but it's really just about the trade-off. Like, you get a great offensive guy. Kemba is one of the best ball handlers in the league. He's great at creating his own shot, creating space with the step backs. He's a solid finisher, with a three-point shooter. Like, I just really like the addition of Kemba to this team. So the lineup could be Kemba, RJ, Evan Fournier, Julius Randle, and maybe Mitchell Robinson, but it's probably going to be Nerlens Noel because Mitchell Robinson has been injured. I think they've been looking into trading him. So I just think that the Knicks, I think they can make the playoffs this season. And depending on what we get from Kemba and RJ is going to really define how far they're going to go. So I'm excited to see what the Knicks do this season. I've liked the signings that they've made. The only thing questionable was the Evan Fournier thing, but everything else was beautiful. Some folks say Nerlens Noel got too much money, D-Rose got too much money, but I don't think it's anything too crazy. But, we'll see what happens in the future. I think it's going to be a fun season. And Knicks basketball is back. That's what I'm happy about. When the Knicks are good, the NBA is good, the NBA is fun. When it's not, the Knicks getting blown out by 50 every night, I'm good. I'm having a good time. But yeah, if you stayed to this video, if you stayed to the end of this video, thank you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one.